There's a creature in the ocean that breaks so many rules of biology that scientists have spent decades just trying to catalog the impossibilities. It has a brain, but it also doesn't. Its intelligence isn't centralized, it's distributed. Each limb thinks for itself. It can regenerate limbs, but not the way other animals do. It can regrow a perfect copy, complete with memory. It can change color in milliseconds, but it's colorblind. It shouldn't be able to see what it's mimicking, yet it does. Its DNA doesn't just mutate randomly, it edits itself in real time, while the animal is alive. It has 3 hearts, blue blood, and a nervous system unlike anything else on Earth. Some scientists have half-jokingly suggested it didn't evolve here, that it's the closest thing to an alien intelligence we've ever encountered. They're not entirely joking. This is the octopus, and it breaks every rule we thought biology had. At first glance, the octopus seems almost elegant, fluid, alien, yes, but in a captivating way. 8 arms, soft body, no bones, no shell. It drifts through the water like liquid intelligence, reshaping itself to fit through impossibly small spaces. For most of history, humans thought octopuses were simple, primitive invertebrates, mollusks like clams and snails. Surely not intelligent, but then we started testing them. And everything we thought we knew about intelligence, about nervous systems, about evolution itself, started to unravel. Because the octopus doesn't just challenge our assumptions, it demolishes them, one by one. There are around 300 species of octopus, ranging from the size of a thumbnail to the giant Pacific octopus, which can weigh over 100 pounds with an arm span of 20 feet. But size isn't what makes them extraordinary. What makes them extraordinary is how they do things that should be biologically impossible. Let me show you. Let's start with the most obvious impossibility: intelligence without a brain. Or rather, intelligence that exists everywhere except the brain. An octopus has a central brain. It's located between its eyes, and it contains about 500 million neurons. For comparison, a dog has about 500 million neurons. So an octopus is neurologically as complex as a dog. But here's the thing. 2/3 of an octopus's neurons aren't in its brain. They're in its arms. Each arm has its own neural cluster, its own processing center. And these arms don't just follow orders from the brain, they make their own decisions. If you sever an octopus arm, it will continue to move. It will crawl away on its own. It will even reach for food and try to bring it to where the mouth used to be. The arm doesn't realize it's been separated. It still thinks it's part of a whole. This isn't reflexive movement. This is autonomous intelligence. Each arm is, in a very real sense, thinking. We don't have anything else like this. No other animal distributes intelligence across its body in this way. But that's just the first rule it breaks. Rule 2, perception and camouflage. An octopus can change its skin color and texture in less than half a second. It can mimic rocks, coral, sand, seaweed. It can even mimic other animals. This requires visual information. The octopus needs to see what it's camouflaging against. But here's the problem. Octopuses are colorblind. They have only one type of photoreceptor in their eyes. They should only be able to see in shades of gray. So how are they matching colors they can't see? For years, scientists assumed there had to be a mistake. Maybe octopuses weren't actually colorblind. Maybe our tests were wrong. But the tests weren't wrong. Octopuses genuinely can't perceive color the way we do. And yet, somehow, they match it perfectly. The current theory? Their skin can see. Octopus skin contains proteins called opsins, the same proteins found in eyes. The skin itself may be able to detect light and color independently of the eyes. In other words, the octopus doesn't see with its eyes and then change color. Its entire body is an eye. Its skin sees, and it responds instantly. This is a level of sensory integration we didn't think was possible. Rule 3. Structural impossibility. Octopuses have no skeleton, no bones, no rigid structure of any kind. The only hard part of their body is a small beak in the center where the arms meet. This means an octopus can squeeze through any opening larger than that beak. A 50-pound octopus can fit through a hole the size of a quarter. It can reshape its body entirely, flatten itself, stretch itself, compress itself. This isn't flexibility in the way that, say, a cat is flexible. This is structural dissolution. The octopus doesn't have a shape, it has options. From an engineering standpoint, this shouldn't work. Without a skeleton, there's nothing to anchor muscles to. Movement should be inefficient, weak. But octopuses are incredibly strong. They can pry open clams, move rocks, open jars. How? Their arms use a structure called a muscular hygrostat. The muscles work against each other, creating rigidity through pressure. It's the same principle that allows a human tongue to move. But the octopus has perfected this to an absurd degree. It can create temporary bones whenever it needs them, then dissolve them instantly. It's an animal that decides whether it has a skeleton. Rule 4. Regeneration. Many animals can regenerate limbs. Salamanders, starfish, some lizards. But octopus regeneration is different. When an octopus loses an arm, it doesn't just grow back tissue. It regrows the entire neural network. The arm comes back fully functional, with all its autonomous intelligence intact. And here's the strange part. The new arm seems to remember what the old arm knew. Researchers trained octopuses to perform tasks with a specific arm. Then they severed that arm and let it regenerate. When the new arm grew back, the octopus could still perform the task. The knowledge transferred. We don't know how. Memory shouldn't be stored in limbs. Memory is supposed to be centralized in the brain. But the octopus doesn't care what memory is supposed to be. Rule 5. Problem-solving intelligence. Octopuses can open jars. From the inside, they can navigate mazes, solve puzzles, use tools. They recognize individual humans. They hold grudges. There are documented cases of octopuses squirting water at researchers they don't like. One octopus in a New Zealand aquarium learned how to escape its tank, crawl across the floor, eat fish from a neighboring tank, and return before morning. It did this repeatedly. The aquarium staff only figured it out when they installed night vision cameras. This is vertebrate-level intelligence. This is problem-solving on par with birds and mammals. But octopuses are invertebrates. They're mollusks. Their evolutionary lineage split from ours over 500 million years ago, which means this intelligence evolved completely independently. Convergent evolution. Except, convergent evolution usually produces similar solutions to similar problems. Birds and bats both evolved wings because flight is useful. But brains? Brains aren't convergent. They're incredibly complex, energetically expensive, and dependent on very specific developmental pathways. The fact that octopuses developed intelligence that rivals ours, using a completely different neural architecture, through a completely different evolutionary path. That shouldn't happen, not independently, not to this degree, and yet it did. So how does the octopus do all of this? Let's start with the distributed intelligence. Humans centralized intelligence in the brain because it's efficient. Information flows in, gets processed in one location, and commands flow out. The octopus took the opposite approach. Instead of centralizing, it distributed. Each arm has about 40 million neurons comparable to a small mammal brain. These neurons form ganglia, clusters that act like mini-brains. They process sensory input, make decisions, and control movement independently. The central brain acts more like a coordinator than a commander. It sets goals, but the arms figure out how to achieve them. Why would evolution favor this? One theory, flexibility. Octopuses are ambush predators and escape artists. They need to react instantly to threats and opportunities. Centralizing all decisions in the brain would create a bottleneck. By distributing intelligence, Each arm can respond to local information without waiting for permission. It's faster, more adaptive, but it comes with a trade-off. The octopus has to deal with 8 semi-independent entities that don't always agree, which raises a philosophical question. Is an octopus one consciousness or 9? Now the color changing. Octopus skin contains millions of specialized cells called chromatophores. Each chromatophore is a tiny sac of pigment surrounded by muscles. When the muscles contract, the sac expands and the color becomes visible. When they relax, the color disappears. An octopus can control these individually, millions of them, simultaneously. Beneath the chromatophores are iridophores and leucophores, cells that reflect light and create shimmer and texture. The result is a skin that functions like a biological pixel display, ultra-high resolution, instant refresh rate. But the control system shouldn't work. Coordinating millions of cells in real time requires massive neural bandwidth, unless the cells are coordinating themselves. Recent research suggests that octopus chromatophores may be semi-autonomous. They respond to local light signals detected by opsins in the skin. The octopus doesn't consciously think, turn this patch blue. The skin sees blue and becomes blue. It's decentralized camouflage. The skin makes its own decisions. This is starting to be a theme. The structural impossibility, the lack of a skeleton, is actually an advantage in the ocean. Rigid bodies have rigid limits. Skeletons define what shapes you can make. The octopus has no such limits. It can become whatever shape solves the current problem. Escaping a predator? Flatten and slide into a crevice. Hunting in coral? Extend one arm while keeping the body hidden. The muscular hydrostat provides strength without structure. The arms can be rigid when needed, flexible when needed. It's engineering without blueprints. Form follows function, instantly. But this design has a cost. Without a skeleton, octopuses can't grow large on land. Gravity crushes them. They're locked into aquatic environments. And their lifespan is shockingly short. Most octopuses live only 1 to 2 years. Giant Pacific octopuses might reach 5 years. Compare that to other intelligent animals, parrots, elephants, whales, which can live decades. Why do octopuses die so young? Part of it is metabolic cost. That massive nervous system, the constant skin changes, the regeneration, it all burns energy. But there's another reason. Octopuses are programmed to die after reproducing. Females stop eating after laying eggs and waste away while guarding them. Males decline rapidly after mating. It's as if evolution gave them incredible abilities, but limited the time to use them, which brings us to the strangest discovery of all. In 2015, scientists sequenced the octopus genome. What they found was so strange that they double-checked the results. Then triple-checked. The data was correct. It just didn't make sense. Octopuses have about 33,000 protein-coding genes. That's more than humans. We have about 20,000. Already unusual, but then they looked closer. Octopuses engage in massive RNA editing. Let me explain what that means. In most animals, DNA is the blueprint, and RNA is the copy that gets sent to the cells. The copy is faithful to the original. But octopuses edit the copy extensively. Over 60% of RNA transcripts in octopus neurons are edited before being translated into proteins. For comparison, humans edit less than 1% of our RNA. This means the octopus genome isn't a fixed blueprint. It's a draft. The final version is edited in real time, depending on environmental conditions. This allows octopuses to adapt their neural chemistry on the fly. In cold water, they edit RNA to produce cold-resistant proteins. In warm water, they edit differently. It's evolution in fast forward. They're adapting within their own lifespan, not across generations. But here's the problem. RNA editing is usually bad. It introduces errors, mutations. Most organisms avoid it. Octopuses embrace it. And somehow, they make it work. We don't know how they avoid the catastrophic errors that should come with this level of editing. It's as if they have an error correction system we haven't discovered yet. Now we come to the big question. How did this happen? Octopuses and humans share a common ancestor from about 600 million years ago. Back then, that ancestor was probably a simple worm-like creature with a basic nervous system. After we diverged, vertebrates evolved centralized brains. We built our intelligence vertically: more neurons, bigger brains, more processing power. Octopuses evolved horizontally. Distributed intelligence, autonomous limbs. But both paths led to similar outcomes: problem solving, tool use, self-awareness. This is called convergent evolution. But it's not supposed to work like this. Convergent evolution explains wings, it explains eyes. These are simple structures with obvious advantages. But complex cognition? That's not simple. That's the result of millions of interacting variables, specific developmental sequences, precise genetic timing. The odds of it evolving twice independently, using completely different architectures. It's like two civilizations on opposite sides of the world, both inventing the exact same language, not similar languages. The exact same one, it shouldn't happen. Some scientists argue it's not true convergence. That octopus intelligence is fundamentally different from vertebrate intelligence. But then why does it look so similar from the outside? There's another troubling piece of data. Octopuses may be self-aware. Researchers conducted mirror tests, a classic test for self-recognition. Most animals treat their reflection as another animal. Only a few species, great apes, elephants, dolphins, recognize themselves. Octopuses might. The results are ambiguous. Some seem to recognize themselves. Others don't. But there's something else. Octopuses dream. When they sleep, their skin flickers through colors and patterns. Rapid changes. Like they're replaying the day or imagining. We can't know what they're experiencing. But the neural activity patterns are consistent with dreaming. If octopuses dream, if they have an inner life, if they possess some form of consciousness, then we're dealing with something far more complex than we realized. We're dealing with an alien mind. And here's the final uncomfortable thought. What if octopuses aren't done evolving? They're already incredibly adaptable. They live in nearly every ocean environment. They're spreading into new territories. Their RNA editing gives them fast evolutionary flexibility. They can adapt to climate change faster than most species. And their intelligence is increasing. Researchers have documented problem-solving behaviors in wild octopuses that weren't seen a decade ago. Octopuses are learning. Not just individually, culturally. They're passing knowledge to each other. Most octopuses are solitary, so this shouldn't happen. But it is. What happens if octopuses develop more complex social structures? What if they start cooperating? Right now, they're limited by their short lifespan, but that's a genetic constraint, one that RNA editing could potentially overcome. If octopuses ever evolve longer lifespans, if they start accumulating knowledge across generations, we might not be the only intelligent species on this planet. So let's return to the beginning. Does the octopus break the rules of biology? Yes, undeniably. It has distributed intelligence when intelligence should be centralized. It sees with its skin when skin shouldn't have eyes. It edits its own DNA when DNA should be fixed. It solves problems like a vertebrate despite being a mollusk. Every aspect of its biology violates what we thought were fundamental principles. But maybe the problem isn't the octopus. Maybe the problem is our rules. We wrote the rules based on vertebrates, based on ourselves. We assumed our way of being intelligent, our neural architecture, our genetic stability. We assumed that was the template. The octopus is proof that it's not. Intelligence doesn't need a centralized brain. It can be distributed. Genetics don't need to be stable. They can be fluid. Consciousness doesn't need our structure. It can emerge from a completely different path. The octopus isn't breaking rules. It's showing us that there are no rules, or at least not the ones we thought. There's a reason this creature feels alien. It is alien, not in origin, but in architecture. Its mind is nothing like ours. Its biology follows different logic. Its evolution took a completely different path. And yet, when you look into an octopus's eye, you see something looking back, something aware, something intelligent, something other. The octopus is a reminder that Earth is stranger than we think. That intelligence can emerge from anywhere, in any form, and that we share this planet with minds we barely understand. The octopus breaks the rules of biology, but maybe what it's really breaking is our assumption that we understand biology at all. If you want to see more creatures that rewrite the rules, subscribe, because the ocean is full of impossible things, and we're going to find them all.